21 lessons, or no, 21 things I've learnt in 21 and in 21, okay, wait, I got it. 21 things I've learnt in 21 years, 1 month, and 13 days time. Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. Now you may be asking yourselves, Emmalese, I thought you turned 21 a month and a half ago. And you'd be correct. When I turned 21, I tried to make a list of things that I had learnt. I got to 13. I could either make a bunch of lessons that I didn't actually agree with. I could just do the 13 lessons I had written down, which doesn't really sit well with my OCD. 13 things I've learnt in 21 years? No, that's not happening. Or I could wait till I had 21 lessons and do it properly, which is the one I ended up choosing. I think it's better that my lessons are authentic and true rather than scrambled together and not really meaningful to me at this time. So without further ado, let's get started. I'll try and make my explanations really quick because there's 21 things I need to get through, like we don't have all day. The first lesson is that balance is key. This is something that I didn't understand a couple of years ago, and I had goals and I had things that I wanted and I wanted them tomorrow. So I had the kind of mindset where I was like, okay, well, I need to make these goals, so if I just work on them constantly, then I'll get to them faster, right? What I've kind of learnt with that is that's not always the case, and working harder doesn't mean that you're gonna get there faster. Now I kind of understand that work needs to be balanced with as much play in order to create a balanced mind, soul, body kind of connection. If you're working constantly, like, you're gonna experience burnout. You're not gonna develop socially or emotionally, or you're just not gonna get those experiences that you need. We never stay the same, and experiencing myself in this moment won't be the same as me experiencing myself in 5 years' time. I'm gonna be different, I'm gonna grow. It's gonna be a different relationship with myself. So by neglecting having that play and having that fun in the present moment, you're missing out on being able to get to know yourself at that point in your life. The second lesson is that you must sit with feelings of discomfort. The best way is always through it. In the past, I kind of neglected that, and if something arose, I'd push it to the side, thinking that it wouldn't affect me, and I'm not thinking about it, so it's not with me in this moment. Absolutely wrong. Oh my gosh. Having to sit with and process feelings of pain, guilt, shame, jealousy, whatever it may be, just uncomfortable feelings. It can be hard, but neglecting them can be harder because they build up, and then you're gonna have this big explosion of mess, feelings, and you're gonna have to work through and with everything that you've neglected. You're basically just leaving the work for a future version of yourself, and yeah, that's not really helpful in any way. Think about it like this: you can't run away from the deepest, darkest parts of yourself. They're still with you, even if you choose not to look at them. So the best way is to shed light on these feelings, sit with them, understand them, love them, and accept them, and keep living your life. The third thing is that a solid and respectful relationship with yourself is a priority, and getting to know yourself and building a relationship with yourself is vital for an individual's well-being. Making it a priority to spend time with yourself gets you used to the feeling of being alone but not being lonely. This kind of helps you with relationships and building connections because you're already whole. You don't need anyone else around you. You're happy with your own company. So rather than needing someone in your life, you choose someone in your life. You know, they have to meet the requirements. So I think that's a very important lesson that I've learned through the years. The fourth thing is that sometimes you have to let go of things to make room for things that are more aligned with the current version of yourself. This is kind of attached to the first point, and it's essentially referring to the fact that as individuals we grow, and with time, things that felt good a year ago won't necessarily feel good in this moment. It's essential that we recognize this and keep checking in with ourselves to make sure that our daily actions and our goals are still aligned. Say if you really like tennis and it's, you know, you loved it, it was your whole life. In 2 years' time, maybe, you know, tennis served its purpose in your life, but you're ready to move on, you're ready to do something else, you're ready to grow in a different way. People use this saying with people a lot, and I guess romantic relationships, but I think it can be used for anything really, and it's that some things are just meant in your life for a season, and that's completely okay. As our internal reality grows and develops, our external reality must move with this. So cut those cords, cut those things out that don't need to be there anymore, you know? The fifth thing is that it's a blessing to be free and walk your own unique path. When we're kind of forming a path in order to get somewhere where we want to go in life, the instructions shouldn't come anywhere else but ourselves. So just because everyone else is, you know, I don't know, going to gym, doesn't mean that that is your own path. And I think that's a really beautiful thing when you just follow the internal rhythm of your own soul. Don't try and mimic what anyone else is doing. Do what you feel you should do. Own your individuality. Express yourself how you feel you need to be expressed, and be unapologetically yourself. And I just want to conclude that point by saying that you can only make a difference from being different. So own who you are. Don't try and hide and blend in. Express your colours. The sixth point is that self-love, self-confidence and courage comes from understanding who you are. There was a point in my past, a big milestone, where I realised that I needed to work on my self-love and my self-confidence. And I struggled knowing how to approach that because it's, you know, it's easier said than done. But when I learnt that self-love and self-confidence comes from understanding, appreciating and respecting who you are, my healing process kind of became seamless. You know, it just made sense. And there was kind of I had a how. So I kind of felt that that point needed to be in here because it was a huge learning curve and a huge light bulb moment, I guess. The seventh point is kind of like a universal law. It kind of goes into the realm of the law of attraction, and it's that what you put out and give is what you will receive. So say if I go grab a coffee and I've got a friend there and I decide to shout her, I'm projecting generous energy out. I am not in a scarcity lack mindset, and I'm more likely to attract that back. It also kind of involves treating people how you would like to be treated and projecting loving, healing, generous, positive energy out. Because I don't know about you, but that's what I would like to receive back. So I'm going to put that out in hopes that it's going to come back, fingers crossed. And also by putting these positive energies out, you're also raising your vibration as well. So it's kind of, you can't really go wrong with that one. The eighth one is to carry a childlike playfulness. Adulthood can be quite serious, and it's really easy to get kind of drowned with stresses, worries, responsibilities. Like, yes, that is kind of needed in order to live and survive in the world we live in, but it's important to have little moments and pockets in your day where you just try and look through the lens of your younger self and let go of all those stresses and worries and approach life with a light-hearted and optimistic attitude so life doesn't get so heavy. And I just wrote at the end here, which I'm going to just repeat. Allow yourself to embrace that child within and let the light-hearted laughter lift your energy field, which I think is really nice. The ninth point is that having nothing allows you to have everything. In this world there is so much to acquire, so much to want, and so many objects and material items to have. So I think it's really important that everyone takes time to really define what wealth and success means to them. And I really challenge you to define it with things that can't be stripped away, can't be taken away. It's funny how some people that seemingly have nothing have everything, and some people that have everything and seem so happy really have nothing. So just some food for thought, I guess. My 10th point is that sometimes it's better to follow the heart over the mind. Your heart and your mind are they're very clashing. In my past, at least, I would experience this conflict, and my mind would always win because it had those facts, it had that logic. If we're in search of happiness in this life, sometimes what makes logical sense isn't what we should choose. And I feel like when it comes to making decisions about your life and your happiness and your well-being, your heart knows better. So just because something makes logical sense doesn't mean you should overlook what your heart is saying. Don't get me wrong, there's always a time to listen to your mind and listen to logic. There's just a balance. You have to know when to choose one or the other. The 11th thing is that dreams will stay dreams without sufficient action. This is kind of an obvious one, and it's a little bit embarrassing to have this one in my lessons list. Obviously it makes sense. In order to get to that dream, in order to achieve that goal, you need to work for it. Sometimes steps can seem so small that they seem insignificant, and that's not always the case. I think it's important to recognize that small steps are still steps, and they're still getting you towards that goal, that dream. So no matter how small a step may seem, still take it and don't discount the value in it. I have some cool quotes with that one as well, and that is, the best time to act was yesterday and the next best time is now, and that the present writes and directly affects the future. So make those decisions in this present moment. Do those things you need to do in order to get where you want to go in the future. Don't keep dreaming about it. Okay, and number 12, it's kind of building off the last one, is don't compromise lifelong goals for instant feelings of gratification. How embarrassing it is to have this lesson in the list as well. But we've all done it, when you go to reach for that bar of chocolate or that bag of chips, it doesn't even have to be in regards to food, just even when you go to buy that pair of shoes, or whatever you do in order to attain instant gratification and comfort. Nothing worth attaining is easy to acquire and usually requires a lot of hard work and dedication. So before making a decision or doing something that you think you might regret, think about if doing that thing is going to give you long-term happiness. Number 13 is to trust the process. I feel like this point is for all my people out there that believe that there is a higher force in this world, and if you don't, skip to the next point. I will put the time code here. Sometimes good things that come into your life come disguised as bad things. So it's just important that you trust the higher forces and trust that they know what you need in order to get to the next step in your life. Allow the process to happen. Okay, I actually need to read this one because it's a long one. When you point the finger at others, you haven't even begun the lesson. When you point the finger at yourself, you have finally begun the lesson. And when you point the finger at no one, you have learnt the lesson. What I want to pass on to anyone that's trying to heal from something is that you will know when you're fully healed from something, because you'll be able to forgive everyone involved and project love to all parties, regardless of what they did to you. Forgive, don't forget. Number 15. is that I forgot it. Is that failing and messing up are a part of the process. I don't know, in my past I was really scared to try new things because I didn't want to fail, and I've come to learn that there's no improvement or growth without the presence of failure. Failing is a part of learning, and learning is a part of growing, and without growth, life would be pretty bland. So just remember that failing is natural, and what matters most is how you get up from it and learn and do better. Number 16 is to explore the places that you're most afraid to go. This could be in regards to anything, whether it's physically traveling, facing something internally that you're really afraid to come to terms with. Nothing really beats the feeling of overcoming a fear and proving to yourself that what you thought you couldn't do, you can. Fears kind of set limitations, so by overcoming these limiting beliefs about yourself and about what you can do, it really opens up the possibilities in this world and allows you to experience your full potential. Number 17 is follow where your inspiration leads you, and this is kind of going back to the one about your head versus your heart. Being inspired to do something, that's kind of your heart talking. You know, I might have 9 tasks and I'll be like, what do I feel inspired to do? And I'll pick that one. And usually it goes really well because I'm actually excited to do it. And I also just want to add, sometimes what you feel inspired to do doesn't make sense, but it doesn't have to make sense. And sometimes it makes sense after you do it and you're like, oh, that's why I needed to do that. Thanks. So just listen to where your inspiration takes you in day-to-day life. Number 18 is mind over matter. This is something that I think about a lot. When you feel like you can't keep going, you can. What you think you're physically capable of isn't necessarily what you're capable of. A lot of the time we're stronger than what we think. Your mind is what's going to make you stay disciplined. It's going to tell you what you can and can't do. So it's important that you just give your mind some attention. Number 19, and we're almost done, which is really exciting. Sometimes you have to say no to say yes. You don't have a limitless amount of time, and you must use the hours that you have to your advantage. You must use it wisely. And think about it, 8 of them we spend working, 8 of them we spend sleeping, so really we've only got 8 left for ourselves, and even then there's other errands and things we need to do in that time. So what I'm basically saying is say yes to the seeds that you want to water and the seeds that you want to grow, and make sure that when you're saying yes to something, you're also saying yes to yourself. Number 20, 1, 2, 3. Value what other people think of you with a grain of salt. This is still something that I'm coming to terms with, but the truth is that you can't please everyone. I've tried it. It doesn't work. Everyone has a different opinion, and you could ask 20 different people and they give you 20 different answers. There's too many opinions out there. There's too many perspectives, and the truth is the only perspective that matters is yours. And I've got a nice quote here too, so I'm going to say it as well. The only person's opinion that matters in regards to you, your decisions, and how you live your life is you. Think about it. You're the only person that has to live with yourself. They don't have to live with you. Why should they care? In 70 years' time, who is going to have to live with the decisions that you made? Obviously, it's you. Everyone else is going to be nowhere to be seen. So make sure that when you're making those decisions that are going to influence your life, just make sure that they align with you and it's what you want to do. And the very last thing, I can't believe we actually made it to the end. It's okay to change, evolve, and grow. The younger version of myself, like I literally remember talking to my friends and we'd be like, that person has changed. And it'd be like a negative thing. I've realized that change isn't necessarily bad. It can be a positive thing, and sometimes change can be growth. So, I mean, yes, you can you can change negatively. I'm not going to say that you can't, but you can also change positively. And if I had a word of advice for my younger self, I'd be like, don't be afraid of change. The biggest change that I've kind of come to realize with turning 21 is, you know, yes, you're getting older, but also becoming wiser. And even if I had the choice, I wouldn't go back, because with reflecting upon what I've learned, these things are so precious to me in my journey, and to go back would be to kind of go backwards. I'm so grateful for what I've learnt over these years, and they have been very necessary things that I've needed to learn. So yeah, I'm just really grateful, and I guess that's kind of the biggest takeaway for me with making this milestone, which is 21. I hope some people connected with some of the lessons. Maybe these are universal things. Maybe some of these things are things that everyone has to learn and realise. So if you connect and you agree with any of these, please let me know down in the comments below. If you did learn any lessons in this video, please let me know as well. I would love to know that this video's made a small difference. If you like this video, please leave a thumbs up and subscribe, as it really supports my channel and I really appreciate it. I always forget this one, but also turn on the bell notifications. I love you guys. Mwah. Stay beautiful as always, and that's kind of it from me. I'll see you next Thursday for another video. Bye!